Well, good morning. Welcome again to Mirador Television, the beginning of another day. Oh, is it interesting? Well, there are all sorts of things happening in all different parts of the world. The fact of the matter is that most of them, either directly or indirectly, will have an impact on us living in small towns. Yes, of course, it'll have an impact on the city, but we sometimes think that things that are happening at an international level, or at a national level, don't have much to do with us. Thank you very much. Somewhere else. But of course, it doesn't matter whether it's from potholes to how much council tax you pay. All these things have a huge impact on the way that we live, particularly in small towns. So let's have a look at what's going on in the world. And the first headline comes this morning from the Mirror, would you believe? And the Well, the unexpected always happens here. I wasn't expecting that, not for one moment. It's not what I was searching for. This is the picture of Joe Biden, President Joe Biden of the United States, who is due in Northern Ireland today for a celebration 25 years of the Good Friday Agreement. And that is taking up a considerable amount of the newspaper headlines. And the Mirror is the first one. And no, it's not. It's the Times, actually. Is Northern Irish peace is my priority, vows Biden. And the paper shows a picture of him with the seal of the President of the United States behind him. And there he's sitting next door to a fire for a cozy chat. And this is what the Times has to say. President Biden's Northern Irish peace priority the paper describes how the United States leader was met off Air Force One by our Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. And it really doesn't say much more. It just gives the headline, is Northern Irish peace is my priority, vows Biden. And he has said more or less that he expects peace in Northern Ireland, peace in our time, as it were, and that's what he's come to Northern Ireland for. In the meantime, there is every evidence that the dissident IRA have been sharpening up their weapons, whether to have a go at him, whether just to put on a display to show that they're not dead, is difficult to say. The fact of the matter is they do not have, nowadays, they do not have the popular support which they had in the late 1960s and 1970s. Life in Northern Ireland is too good. I know I have a daughter who is married there. My two grandsons have gone off elsewhere, but only to pursue their careers. And my daughter is quite adamant. She does not want to return. She does not want the free use of cinemas, the wonderful theatre facilities they have, the fact that they now have ice hockey teams and basketball teams, and apart from football, of course, and all done without fear of being blown up in a stadium. She does not want any more than all her associates and colleagues want a return to the bullet. So that they are just nasty, bitter little people who can't let go of the past. And as you know, as I keep on being told and reminded, is you have to let go of the past. Oh, put it into context by all means. But with all due respect, to the leaders of the time, Jerry Adams and others who have gone before them, they have actually managed to assimilate what happened in the 70s and the 80s, the bombs and the bullets. They realized it was getting them nowhere. It was a war they couldn't win. And so they put it into context. But there are still those hotheads running around who think that if they bomb often enough, they'll get their own way. Forget it, chaps. Now let's go to the Mirror, which it loves to have a go at the establishment, of course, and it turns to the coronation. And is a coronation chaos fear, it says. It warns of potential chaos at the King's coronation next month, listing a litany of reported problems, including an overrun rehearsal and an unfinished seating plan due to Prince Harry dithering on his invite. All the things that people domestically suffer. I'm afraid that the Mirror is really reaching for it, and this is where I feel so sorry that the standards of journalism have, in many instances, dipped from the golden era of 20, 30 years ago. But it warns of potential chaos, the overrun, Harry not replying. It also gives a top spot to the news that suspected pipe bombs were found at a cemetery near the city of Londonderry, hours before US President Joe Biden arrived in Belfast to mark the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement. Okay, the Eye. The world economy is in peril, according to the Eye. The headline is UK heads for the worst growth in the G7. Underneath an image of Joe Biden boarding his plane to fly to the UK, the Eye warns that mortgage costs are likely to remain high as the government and Bank of England battle to bring inflation down. Citing what it refers to as a grim IMF forecast, the paper says the UK's GDP is set to shrink by 0.3% this year, the lowest in the G7 bloc. G7, of course, being the group of seven, the seven most prosperous nations on Earth, at least in the western part. The Daily Telegraph is a union boss on holiday as doctors walk out. There's a gathering storm, at least for once it's for the union side of things, and not the not the government as it normally is. The Daily Telegraph gives a front page spot to the pipe bombers, right? It also is its headline is a union boss on holiday as doctors walk out. And it leads on the claim that Dr. Robert Lawrenson, the co-chair of the British Medical Association, BMA, is chairman of the Junior Doctors Committee, has gone on holiday while the strikes get underway. The BMA did not respond to requests when asked if Dr. Lawrenson had booked the holiday before the strike date was announced. And apparently there was a request from several leading daily newspapers, all of which have gone unresponded. Somewhere else, the point is made that if he goes on holiday, he can continue to collect his pay, whereas if he goes on strike, he can't. It's good, shrewd thinking. They've always got their pocket in mind, these union leaders. You're not paying our people enough. But don't worry about me. I'm making plenty, thank you, out of this dispute. and the Daily Mail goes after him. Hard left union leader behind the most disruptive strike in NHS history, and he goes on holiday just as junior doctors walk out, bringing fear and misery to patients. Enough to make you sick, says the Mail. It describes the story about Dr. Lawrenson and his absence from his union's strike, which the paper describes as being the most disruptive in NHS history. It says his colleagues will lose money for taking part in the action, but because he has taken annual leave, it's understood he will not be penalised. The trainee GP does not appear to have commented on the issue to either the Mail or the Telegraph or other papers that have asked for a comment. The Financial Times has it's gone back to one of the stories it covered last week. It says EY ditches breakup plans after its US partners turned down Project Everest. Project Everest apparently was a plan to split up Ernst & Young's consulting and audit department because they have been dinged in Germany £500,000, and also they are facing all sorts of charges. They've been banned from EU activity for 2 years because they got the audit of I think it was Netwire. Sorry, I've forgotten which audit it was, but let's see. It says the business paper's major focus is the news that Big Four firm EY has scrapped plans to break up its audit and consulting businesses after months of internal disagreement. That's it's causing. I mean, EY is one of the top four accounting firms in the UK, so it's going to have quite an impact. The fact that it's taken this knock, but also the FT says the claim that the Confederation of British Industry is fighting for its reputation following the sacking of its boss Tony Danker over sexual misconduct claims. Always difficult to tell nowadays whether, in fact, he was really naughty or he pinched somebody's bottom. But anyway, let's move on because the Metro is all about the theft of phones. And they are doing some pretty awful statistics. Gone in 30 seconds, reads the headline. This is the Metro, the London paper, referring to new data showing the rate at which mobile phones are being stolen in London is a shocking 91,000 reports of phone theft were made last year, equivalent to 248 a day, or one every 360 seconds, the paper reports, adding just 2% of cases ended with the recovery of a device. Oh, dear, 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 dear. And that's it. These people just snatch on the... So beware when you're walking along gaily talking into your phone, because you might not have it for much longer. Wimbledon is also in the news. And according to the Daily Express, Wimbledon has handed Putin a win. The All England club, lifting the ban on Russian players, lacks courage, says Ukrainian foreign minister. The Ukrainian anger at Wimbledon tennis chiefs leads the Daily Express after the war-torn country's foreign minister urged the UK government to step in and ban Russian players from this year's tournament. The decision to allow Russians and Belarusians to play means the Princess of Wales, as patron of the All England Lawn Tennis Club, could be put in an awkward position of handing a winner's trophy to a competitor from either country. There is also another image of Mr. Biden arriving in Northern Ireland last night. Ho, 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 ho. Let's see. Let us rely upon the Daily Star for helping us. A1 will terminate footy managers within 10 years. Is a good old Star. I mean, you really have got it's got a picture of a similar picture to this, just tampered with a little. It's Robo Klopp. It says they'll buy players and pick teams and take training. The managers will be out of a job. The Daily Star says that artificial intelligence, AI, might terminate footy managers within 10 years. The paper asks whether software will ever be able to understand the offside rule, besides an image of Liverpool's manager Jurgen Klopp, who has been digitally altered and nicknamed Robo Klopp. So there you are. That's the front pages. Let's have a time check, shall we? Yes, we shall. It is 8:47 at the moment, and the date today is the 12th of April, and it's of the what is it? 12th of the 40th, 1204. That's right, April 2023. My eyesight is going. I'm getting a little bit older. Now, there were a couple of things I think worthy of mention locally. Let's just have a look here. Right, okay. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to get a picture of this, but locals are baffled by an alien-like sea creature that washed up on Littlehampton Beach, and it shows a photo of a very odd-looking, well, I don't know whether it's fish or fowl. It is alien-like, I must say, and it was discovered on a beach in Littlehampton, and it looked very similar to one found last December. The alien-like creature was lying in the shallows, and it was dead, unfortunately. But it appeared to have a translucent head, similar to a jellyfish, and at least 2 fins of different sizes. It's been likened to another alien-like creature washed ashore in Dorset in December. Oh, where's that come from? Wow. Okay. Well, we really don't know, do we? So that is the that's the morning news. It is now 10 to 9. And I think that one of the things that we might just talk about this morning, because we have a new correspondent, Richard Barton, who has got a great sense of humor and says, Dick Barton, you can introduce me with Dick Barton, Special Agent, which was in the 1940s. A very, very popular show on radio, of course. Outrated the Archers at one point, and it started off with and he did tell me the name of that piece of music yesterday, and of course I've immediately forgotten it, so I'm sorry about that, Dick. But he gave us the fascinating story of Piltdown Man, and how I think is well, the perpetrator pulled 36 different cons on the establishment at the time, including Piltdown Man. Now, what I'm looking for is the papers, the BBC papers, which we've just looked at, just to remind us of what's going on. But when it comes to crime, I received, along with, actually it's amazing. The local elections could decimate a rainforest with the amount of bump that they put through your front door. And most of it is silly nonsense bump. It does not relate to anything. Or the old man is here. We've got to watch out.
I'm sure you're older than me. You need your wheelchair. I can't get it.
Well, we're in for trouble a little later. He'll be along at 9:30.
Old man like you
are. But amongst the bones was one on why we are being charged out of our council tax to support the police. And it came from Katie Bourne, who is the police commissioner, an elected police commissioner, I may say. She goes to the polls.
We're going to have a policeman on the beat.
Sorry. Well, what she's saying is that I think there are 3,500 coppers, and that she alone, in her stewardship, has maintained that number. And I made the point that we sit here and we look out at the Crown Court, and when we see coppers is when there's a case. And they pull up in their cars, and they get out and they go into the courthouse, and then they come out again. They get into their cars and off they go. And we don't see a copper on the beat at all anymore. That is a disappeared species. And it's all very well to claim money and say that this is how many you've got going, but if we don't see them, and it's all to do with perception. We don't care whether they conk people over the head with a truncheon. It's all to do with perception. Is we want to see them there to feel safe. Would you agree, old man?
No, not really.
Right.
I mean, no. Also, do you realise that council tax goes to pay pensions for the council people who work there?
Yes, you mentioned this in the past, and I think, but I understand that at long last, Southover is being closed. No, it's not being closed. It's going to some charity. The building is going to some charity. But they're going to move down to New Haven in a shop front, and then almost everything is going to come from Eastbourne. Now, if that's the case, do you think that this pension issue will still hold good?
Well, I can tell you this from a very reliable source, namely Mr. Catlin. Only the people that were left in Southover Road, otherwise they'd lose their pension. Finally, Eastbourne took over the pension, and do you know what? They found the most expensive financial advisor in the world. So, which means that Eastbourne accounts had a horse and a cart driven through.
Yes, I mean, actually, it is funny that I get these things, as indeed you do, with the local councillors saying what they've done and how wonderful they are. And mind you, it depends is whether they're pushing the party or whether they're pushing themselves. But they've all done marvellous things, and yet we've lost our governance totally. It's gone to Eastbourne. Our council tax is the third highest in the country. The housing shortage for affordable housing is almost non-existent. The shortage is there. There is none. A lot of the services, potholes particularly, are not looked after. As some councillors have pointed out, the council buildings just across from the courthouse, near the tourist office, are crumbling and almost derelict. Please tell me, why aren't any of these things mentioned on these brochures?
Because they're incompetent.
And they're not proud of them. And so they try to hide them.
Yeah. Everybody knows that. I know we talked about it the other day, about the electric charging points.
Yes.
I mean, back in the day, I said 2019, I went to a sustainability meeting, and one of the Greens, I think, said we're going to have zero carbon emissions by 2030. And I said, how are you going to do that? And he said, we're going to have electric charging points. That was 4 years ago. And for the 4 years, we've only got about 8 charging points until the Lib Dems insisted that we had 64 electric charging points. I think the Greens might electrocute themselves if they were going to implement themselves.
Yeah. I will actually cross you there when you say everybody knows, because obviously the people that belong to these parties don't, because the brochures keep telling us how wonderful they are.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, it goes from bad to worse, really. Forgive us if we're cynical, but the things that we see, particularly because we're always looking for these things, I suppose, the things we see throughout the year in local governance is appalling. And yet, come election time, is they strut along and put in these things as re-elect us or elect our new people and so on. Our view is None of the above. What
Well,
we do is we say, look for the candidate, look at the man, look at the woman to see whether they are worthy. And we wish that they were running as independents. But if you look at the party, they are all as disastrous as each other.
well, I think I'm a Lib Dem. I have to put my hands up and say so. So I'm not a bloody what conservative are you? Go. And I think that
I'm only conservative in nature. I'm not conservative by party.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. I suppose you vote for the communists.
No. Actually, you know, one of the things that there was quite a serious discussion, Stuart, is if you look at there isn't an independent running,
yeah.
and you look and you see all the parties, and you can't support one particular party, what do? And in fact, it is quite a legitimate way of voting to spoil your ballot, because spoiled ballots are counted, and then we know how many spoiled ballots there are. And if there are enough spoiled ballots for people to say none of the above, that we don't have faith in any of these things, it might shake them up.
Talking about it, because going back to our Belfast days, they used to go around saying, vote early and vote often.
Yes. Actually, you'll be pleased to know that the IRA in Londonderry have been stacking pipe bombs in anticipation of Joe Biden's visit, and he's there at the moment.
I did know that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, we are coming up to 8:57. Stuart will be back in half an hour with. Are you doing Energy Matters first, or have you got a guest this morning?
Well, I think we've got a guest, but
right,
cross sort of thing. Okay, yeah, and I got a wonderful Energy Matters call. Talk about a carry on. Carry on.
All right. Well, Stuart will be here at 9:30 with Energy Matters, and then hopefully we'll have an interview a little later. So plenty for you to come on Mirador Television. And for the moment, what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's just tell you what the weather is, because there is a severe weather warning out, and you can be fooled because this morning is it's very, very nice right now. The temperature is 6 degrees. The temperature is 6 degrees. It's going to go up to 10 degrees by about 1 o'clock today, and then it's going to settle back to 12. Yes, it'll be well. No, actually, it may not reach 12 today, although that's the forecast high. The winds are going to be strong. The showers are going to be light.
The winds, they said, in where we are going to be absolutely violent, really, really blowing.
Well,
I just walked up. For that reason, I didn't take my nice grey hat. I thought it might get blown away. I've just walked up there. There's no bloody wind at all. What are they talking about?
No, but apparently, according to the chart that we've got this morning, it will start around about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Those strong winds will come on, and that they will actually start to blow us all off our feet.
What are they doing? Having an extended lunch break?
Yes, that's well, yeah. Well, they are the civil service. Right, 8:59. We're going to have to say toodle pip for the moment, and then the old man will be back with some of his words of wisdom about energy, and then a fascinating interview, we hope.
Keith?
Yes.
Where is this old man? There's only you. I can't see another one. The only old man around
I know how to rattle him first thing in the morning. Okay, toodle pip for the moment.